call Mr. Brian Wilson. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. At first sight, this motion may seem frivolous and unimportant compared to some of the major problems which face this Assembly. However, this is not the case, as it highlights two of the major threats facing governments throughout the world: the security of energy supplies and climate change. I therefore welcome the opportunity to speak on the motion and thank Tommy Gallagher for bringing it forward. I am pleased to see that the media has already taken up the issue of Earth Hour. This contrasts with the total lack of interest shown last year, when I issued a press statement asking all public bodies, in particular non-armed Assembly, to switch off unnecessary lights for an hour. There was no media interest at all. Like most of my press releases, it was totally ignored by the media, and the lights stayed on. I had hoped it would be a success and the authorities would even question the point of lighting public buildings after hours or at weekends when the buildings were not in use. While the lights were going out through cities throughout the world, Belfast was oblivious to the appeal. In fact, I must have been the only person in Northern Ireland to respond to last year's Earth Hour appeal. Not only did I turn off the lights, but I turned off the TV and sat on the sofa in front of a log fire, cuddling the wife for an hour. It was a rare and enjoyable experience. Outside Northern Ireland, the switch off was a great success, and many millions turned off their lights. For example, in Christchurch, New Zealand, they cut the energy use by 13%. This year, the local media are taking much more interest, and I've already been asked to submit 2 articles to the local press. However, the aim of the Earth Hour is not just to save energy, but to highlight how much energy we waste. It is part of an awareness campaign to make people think about how they use energy. For example, do we really need these lights in the evenings and at the weekends? Can we reduce the time that lighting is provided? Can we use energy-saving light bulbs or renewable energy? Are the lights really necessary? If Earth Hour can persuade us to examine our overall energy use, it will have been a success. Climate change is a major threat to the future of our planet, and to combat climate change it is essential that we reduce our energy consumption. Indeed, a report issued just last week from the Climate Change Summit in Copenhagen expressed concern that the earlier UN estimates of sea level rises were too low. The previous Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, it would appear, did not take into account the potential impact of polar melting. I'm sure that even the climate change sceptic, such as our own Environment Minister, must admit that any reduction in energy use is desirable. Energy costs are a significant proportion of the average family's expenditure, and any reduction in this will help the fight against fuel poverty. As oil prices have risen in recent months, fallen in recent months, there has been a reduction in the previous drive to provide energy from renewable sources. We've been grown complacent, and this complacency is not justified. While oil prices have fallen because of a reduction in demand due to the worldwide recession, this will not continue when the world economy picks up again. As we move out of the recession, the demand for oil, particularly in China and India, will grow and will considerably above the 2007 level, which created massive hardships throughout the world in terms of energy consumption. The price of the barrel of oil is likely to exceed last year's record of $150 a barrel. We should be taking this opportunity of low prices to reduce our consumption and to actually develop alternative energy sources of energy. And we've already dealt with some of the opportunities we have in Northern Ireland to develop alternative energy. It is important that the Assembly shows leadership in responding to the Earth Hour and sends out a message to the whole community that we must reduce our energy consumption and increase investment in alternative energy from renewable sources. I therefore support the motion and look forward to an hour-long cuddle on the 20th of March.